One mic.
All I need is one mic.
What's the name of the show?
One mic with Big Mike.
You know, ain't nobody getting hurt, ain't nobody, there's no crime being committed.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
This is real life stuff that's happened to me.
Well, you know what?
You, and you.
One mic with Big Mike.
I like to be able to do what I want to do.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limits.
Meek Mill's concert is not called the Hell Yeah I Bang Khloe Kardashian concert.
And now, your host.
Put your hands together for the one, the only
Big Mike.
One mic. And welcome into a Monday, the Monday edition of One Mic with Big Mike. I, of course, am Big Mike, coming back from an NBA All-Star weekend. And, of course, Valentine's Day is over with now, so you guys can feel free to stop loving that person that you spent all your money on yesterday. Because I guess that's what the whole thing is about, right? You pick one day out the year, love that person, and for the rest of the year, I give you permission to stop immediately. Anyway, you know what I need to start doing more of that I thought about from Friday's show? I have to start mentioning the chat room more. I am broadcasting via Spreaker.com. That is Spreaker.com and the Spreaker app for all of your mobile devices. And in broadcasting on Spreaker, there is instead of like taking phone calls like your pedestrian radio shows, Spreaker has provided me and everyone else who broadcasts on this format a live and interactive chat room. Now all you got to do is sign up for your free Spreaker account. It's just like signing up for Facebook or Twitter or any of those things. My girl Renee Cooper just signed up for hers. My guy Barry Greenstein signed up for his. And once you do that, search for my show, the number one, MICWITHBIGMIKE, One Mic with Big Mike. It's kind of like a, play on words. Like my name is Mike, but I'm also speaking into a mic, but they're spelled differently. So, well, yeah, you got it. All right, so search for my show. Once you do that, after you sign up for your account and you search for my show, go ahead and follow me on Spreaker. And then once you follow me, I'm broadcasting live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7 to 9 p.m.-ish, until I run out of stuff to talk about, basically. The cap is 9 p.m. And once you do that, you'll see, once I'm on live, you'll see a little thought bubble at the bottom of your screen. I'm not sure exactly how it looks on the app, but I know on the computer version, if I'm saying that correctly, at the bottom, you'll see a little dancing thought bubble. Just click on that, and that'll get you access into the live interactive chat room. So when I'm having these conversations about any particular topic and you feel like, oh, that dude's a freaking idiot, you can tell me. You can actually tell me, and I don't just ignore it. I will address it, and no matter how positive or negative, I'll make sure I address it, let you know that I know you're there and that we are interacting. As well, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at the same handle, the number one, MICWITHBIGMIKE, and Facebook.com/ONEMICWITHBIGMIKE is my Facebook page. So you go ahead and give that some, what do? You like your Facebook page, right? Like it and comment on it and post to it and all those good things, man. I would like to say that I'm proud of where the show is headed right now. It's since November, it's been a slow burn, building some momentum here. Last week, did a guest every day last week, and this week, guess what? I'm already booked up for the week. Today, 7:30, TJ Duckett, former Michigan State running back, also former Atlanta Falcon from right here in the city, member of that DVD backfield with himself, Michael Vick, and Warwick Dunn. So we'll talk to him at 7:30, and I want to really talk to him about what's going on, because from my understanding, he's very active and very he's a part of what's going on in Flint, Michigan with the water situation. And I know you guys are saying, well, what about the sports? Look, I'll get to it, but this is something that you guys have heard me mention on the show. Like the day, it wasn't the day after I found out about it. It was I found out about it on a Saturday. Just happened to wake up, TV was still on CNN, and I hear them talking about this water situation. And I'm like, I'm used to hearing about this kind of stuff in like third world countries. You know what I mean? People who can't get clean water. Not in America. So it really kind of struck a chord with me. And me being me, when I hear Flint, Michigan, I don't know a lot about Flint, Michigan. I don't know a lot about Michigan, period. But what I did immediately, I went and I wanted to find out what the demographic of Michigan was. of Flint, Michigan, excuse me. And I found out it's like 60-something% African American. And so then after I did that, I said, okay, well, let me figure out let me find out what the average income is. And it's like $23,000. So it's not one of those situations where, and I'm going to ask TJ about this, that we can just try to make this into some sort of a racial thing, because it seems to have crossed that line into the socioeconomic realm. Like, it's just really like these poor people don't matter, whatever color they are. They're poor, they don't matter. So let's give them poisoned water. And the other thing that caught my ear in hearing it is the things that it could do, not only to the people who are drinking it now, but to future generations. Now that, to me, that's some powerful stuff. That's some genocidal stuff, to be honest with you. I hope I'm using that word right, but you guys understand what I'm saying. Genocide. When you start talking about tearing down generations of a people, yeah, it's a problem. So I'm gonna talk to TJ Duckett. He goes by Todd now, and I have him explain to you guys why exactly the transformation came about. You know, usually dudes do that when they go to jail. I mean, go to court and stuff. You know, they got to cut the braids off and get clean cut so you don't look like a criminal. Not in his case. It's a different story for him, and I'm gonna have him explain to you guys why he made the transition name wise from TJ to Todd. So on Wednesday, I'm gonna talk to my guy Alex Kovtoff. God, I hope I'm saying it right. He's from NFL draftblitz.com, and we're gonna talk. It's the off season, so we got to start talking about how your team is going to get better. We got to get some information on some of these prospects and these guys, and find out about some of the guys who you really don't hear all about. Like, you hear about a couple of quarterbacks now, and of course, you know, the Derrick Henrys and the Ezekiel Elliott's of the world, and the Joey Bosa's of the world, and all these guys. But some of the guys from maybe smaller schools that we're not hearing about, some guys who may have had good Senior Bowls, some guys that we should be looking out for at the NFL Combine coming up here in about another week or so. And we're going to talk about all those things with Alex Kovtoff from NFLDraftBlitz.com on Wednesday. And then on Friday, as we embark upon the quote-unquote second half of the NBA season, as though I can't count, it's not the half. You know what I mean? We're going to talk to Gerald Brown of the Bottom Line Sports Show on SiriusXM on Friday about all things in NBA. As far as to be one day past the trade deadline, so we'll get the chance to talk with him about who got moved, who should have been moved and didn't get moved, and all these kind of good things. So, hey, the show's moving right along, man. Shout out to Renee Cooper. She's in the chat room. You guys can join the chat room as well by logging on to Spreaker.com or downloading the Spreaker app to your phone. I see Renee she's on the computer. She's on Spreaker.com. And all you guys got to do, sign up for your free Spreaker account the same way you do for Facebook or Twitter and all these things. Then search for my show, the number one, MICWITHBIGMIKE. Follow me. And right now, I'm live, broadcasting live. So there should be a little dancing thought bubble at the bottom of your screen. Click on that, and you can get in the chat room with the beautiful Renee Cooper and give your thoughts. She's already chiming in on the Flint situation. I am from Flint. This happened because those people live below the poverty level, and the people in power in the city were appointed by the governor. They were not elected, so they thought they could get away with it. That makes sense to me. Yeah, and look, I'm not even from Flint, and it looked that way to me immediately. I was like, because I don't care what color you are. If it happens I'm in Atlanta, so let's say it happens in African American neighborhood in Sandy Springs. No, it wouldn't happen. So I can't let's say that. Nah, this is the kind of stuff you pull on poor people, man. This is why in lower income neighborhoods, the schools look the way they do. And this is why the crime rates are so high. It's all a trickle-down thing, man. People think people are just crazy because they're crazy. Nah, it's systematic. So, like I said, we'll talk to TJ Duckett about all that at 7:30. So, since we're talking to him at 7:30, we won't be doing On This Day at 7:30. We'll move it back again, and for the rest of the week, as a matter of fact, to the top of the hour, to 8 o'clock, where we take our daily look back into the annals of sports and give you guys some little history tidbits on some things that happened on this particular day in history in the sports realm. And, as well, Peyton Manning's in the news this week. Last week it was all about Cam Newton and him pouting and not being a gracious loser, whatever that is, you know. But this week, yeah, Peyton Manning, over the weekend, Peyton Manning, one of his skeletons got brought back out the closet. in the New York Daily News, a guy named Sean King. And when I first heard the name, I think like, what, the quarterback from Tulane and the Buccaneers? I didn't even know he wrote. But no, it's this other cat that he has his own set of things, controversy swirling around him too. But he wrote something for the New York Daily News on the subject of Peyton Manning and sexual assault allegation that was brought against him in 96 or so. So we'll talk about that. And well, as you can probably assume if you heard the show before, I have some very pointed opinions on this whole situation. And it's not as simple as, oh, so you don't want to talk about it because it's Peyton. What about when it was Cam? Whatever. I don't care about that. There are bigger issues involved in this than the race situation. Like, there's a woman that once I start telling you the stuff that she had to go through and she had to endure, you'll realize it has nothing the race thing is secondary in this matter. So we'll get through that. I have to talk about, obviously, All-Star Weekend. I forced myself to watch the happenings. When I was doing a show on Friday, they were having the first round of things where they had the celebrity basketball game, and Kevin Hart was supposed to be coaching. I saw a little kid on the sideline, I guess helping Drake coach, and it was after the fact when I realized it was that little, if you ever saw that YouTube video of the little Jamaican kid that's like training his buddies outside to do push-ups and stuff, he was one of the coaches, man. I need to find out something to do on the internet, man, that I can, because that seems to be the way now. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure that little kid has gotten some loot off of that. If not for anything, he's sitting on the bench of the All-Star game, celebrity game with Drake at, whatever he is, 9 years old. Because he did something that I'm sure he didn't expect. He's a 9-year-old kid, something that he was just bossing around his friends, basically, making them do push-ups and telling them this is how we get cut up around here, wherever he's from. So anyway, that was my bit of that I saw. But then on Saturday, I got the entire experience with the skills competition and the 3-point shooting competition, which, by the way, check my Twitter account at the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE. I did say that Klay Thompson was going to win, and the reason I like Klay Thompson's shot, I know he had a bad outing last year, but I like his stroke because it's so consistent, like over and over and over again. He shoots the ball the same way. This is the reason that this dude can get like 28 points in a quarter, no problem, because once it's locked, it's just a matter of just repeat, and he's just dropping it in you back to back. So I picked Klay Thompson, and he ended up winning over his teammate Steph Curry, and like no wonder why they killing cats every night out. So I saw that. Then the dunk competition came, and I was like, oh, am I gonna really do this? And I did, and I convinced myself to do it by saying, okay, I want to see this kid, Zach LaVine. Because last year, he won last year, but then earlier this year or late last year, somebody wrote an article about the Minnesota Timberwolves. And he's like, Mike, why are you reading about the Minnesota Timberwolves? Well, my guy, Sam Mitchell, he's the interim coach there, which I didn't even realize till a couple of weeks ago that he was still interim. Flip Saunders passed away. His body, succumbed to cancer. And Sam Mitchell took over. But I thought Sam Mitchell had the job. And then I realized somebody called him interim coach. And I was like, oh, that's happening? And then this week, apparently the Timberwolves are rumored to be looking at former Bulls coach Tom Thibodeau as Flip Saunders' permanent replacement. So, sucks for Sam. But nobody shed any tears. He's getting paid handsomely. But anyway, they wrote an article about them, and in the article, it mentioned that Zach LaVine every night is having his own personal dunk contest and wondering why these other 9 dudes are even on the damn court. And it's true. But in all fairness, for those of you who probably don't check out Minnesota Timberwolves basketball, and I don't blame you if you don't, but they got a nice young squad and a nice old squad, by the way, because they got a bunch of young 20-something-year-old kids. Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, Zach LaVine and these dudes. But then you turn around, it's like Kevin Garnett, Tayshaun Prince is over there, Andre Miller's over there. Like, it's like the polar opposite of the age scale on that team. And, they're all right. I like the squad. I like to watch them play. But I say all that to say that Zach LaVine is not just a dunker. He's a guy who's actually trying to develop his game, which will, I'm going to fix the dunk competition. Because I believe this year was just an aberration. That you had such two creative, skillful, and able-bodied athletes in the competition. Yeah, don't start expecting that for next year and the year after, because in reality, these dudes are basketball players. Their job is to play basketball. And, eventually they're going to want to get ready. They're going to want to improve their game basketball-wise, not just as dunkers to entertain you idiots on Saturday night before the All-Star game. Speaking of, then there was that. I don't know what it was. I was literally, and I say this to you in all honesty, I was literally trying my best not to fall asleep. I was dozing during last night's All-Star game. So we'll get into a deeper conversation about all that. There's not a lot of stuff, not a lot of sports things to talk about today, to be honest with you. The Hawks seem to be, the Atlanta Hawks here in Georgia, seem to be one of the most entertaining teams in sports per the Bleacher Report. Yeah, I was looking at it the same way. The way you looking at your speaker right now, yeah, seemingly, but it's not what you think. I'll explain it to you later. Also, I meant to talk about this on Friday, but it's not something that was time sensitive at all. Jackie Robinson West, the Little League baseball team, the predominantly African-American team out of Chicago that got stripped of the title because, of course, people felt like they needed to skirt the rules. You know what we do. Well, Jimmy lives all the way over there. We'll just have him use the coach, just have him use my address. I don't know exactly how it went down, but inevitably, people who weren't supposed to be playing on the team because they lived too far away were playing. Somebody snitched. Things happen. And they got their championship stripped. Just like a year, 2 years ago. They won 2 years ago. I think the title got stripped a year ago. And these people are still at it, man. They suing people. Apparently, they suing ESPN and a bunch of other people. And I'll give you guys all the details later. But, I've said this before and I'll say it again. And it's not my quote. It's somebody that a friend of mine said this to me. He said, Mike, it's not entirely always the employees. A lot of times it's the employers, and this is a perfect example of it. Like, these kids done moved on, man. It's these adults that's still holding on to some ridiculous Little League championship. It's a sad, sad day, man, when that's like, when you wake up in the morning and like that's at the top of your agenda. We got to fight for our Little League championship back. Come on, man, move on. Move on. Don't act like nothing was wrong. Like, this whole contention that when somebody told on you, or the fact that somebody told on you is the problem. Yeah, that sounds real N-word-ish, if you feel me. Yeah. I would never got caught if, well, but you shouldn't have done it. That's the thing. But yeah, whatever. So, last night, or this weekend, NBA All-Star Weekend 2016 in Toronto. And boy, they said it was cold as hell. Come on, man. 9 degrees below. I can't go nowhere because my homeboy used to coach in Tampa. He now lives in Arizona. So you can, in Saskatchewan, in Canada. And now he lives in Arizona, which, by the way, you can probably assume and know before I even tell you that he ain't going back. Unless it's a big, big check involved. That dude would tell me that sometimes it would be so cold because he said in Saskatchewan it's flat land, so like ain't no buildings to break down the wind or anything like that. So it's just flat land, and like 30 below, it can get as cold to the point where you can get frozen inside your home. The locks on your house get frozen. You can't get out the house. Like, come on, man, I can't even deal with you on that. There's no way my tropical behind. It's trying to be it get to be 30 something here. Like today, I think it was like 30 something today. I can't go nowhere. I can't do nothing. No way. I mean, it's a good thing, I work from home because no. Even like to go from like a car to a building. Yeah, it's tough. But anyway, it happened. Kobe Bryant's final All-Star game, and boy, it felt like at certain times, man. Like, people retire from sports, you would think sometimes that they were dead. Like, all the video tributes and the slow music and, golly, man, like, I never understood, like, why I should be so sad. You know what I mean? Like, what's the alternative? Like, Kobe play another year of bad basketball? No. Like, truthfully, like, Kobe's a couple years overdue for me. Like, I'm not going to tell nobody not to get their check. Not saying that, but what I'm saying is, for my entertainment value, yeah, the Black Mamba has been a garden snake for a minute. If we gonna be real about it. Now, every now and then, because I believe all the great ones have a reserve tank. Every now and then, Kobe will bust out, 32 on somebody, and it's like, oh, Kobe of old. Nah, he hit like 7 threes. That don't count. That don't count at all. So anyway, that happened. Paul George had a nice game last. Well, I gotta qualify it. I gotta qualify. No one had a nice game yet because they was having a shoot around. They had like a 3-hour shoot around, and God, that pregame, geez. I'm like, all right, they said the game. I watched 60 Minutes. They said the game was gonna start at 8:02. I was like, all right, cool. I get some, some news magazine stuff in real quick. Turn to the game, 8:02, bang. Watch this, knock this out. Turn back, HBO, get some John Oliver in, and I'm good for the night, right? No. I gotta watch cats get introduced a million times. I gotta watch like 5 anthems get sung. I gotta watch like 4 video tributes to Kobe Bryant. Come on, man. I'm just trying to watch this bad basketball game and keep it moving. And the only reason I'm watching this for y'all, so I can get on here the next day and talk about it. I have no idea, to be honest with you, how Russell Westbrook won the MVP. I guess he was just the best player on the winning team. After Paul George had 41, I guess you don't give it to the loser. But who gives a damn? We all lost last night. Now, Saturday, I think we won. The skills competition, whatever. It's cool. Karl Anthony Towns won that over the new Isaiah Thomas, the newer, less equipped version. He's still a good player, but he ain't Zeke, bad boy Zeke. Karl Anthony Towns won, and all the big dudes, for some reason, like Draymond, whatever the opposite of a Napoleon complex is, that's what Draymond Green has. Draymond Green is every bit of 6'5", and he out there running out, with the big dude, him and Boogie Cousins, you know what I mean? It's like 7-foot Boogie and 6'5" Draymond out there for the big men. Yeah, whatever, dude. I love Draymond Green's game because he gives zero you-know-whats. Yeah, I'm 6'5", whatever. Put me on the 7-foot dude and watch me win every time. Cool. Except for when it's Kevin Durant, because he's a different animal. He's something like a phenomenon. So, but then the 3-point contest came on. I love the 3-point contest. I love to see dudes just get buckets, man. And dudes who can really shoot, like back in the day, like the Dale Ellises of the world and the Ray Allens, Larry Bird, like dudes that can fill it up. And you got that yesterday out of Clay and Steph. But then it happened. I was like, all right, time for the dunk contest to happen. And really, you had to weed out the bums early. You had the bummy dudes out, the Andre Drummonds of the world out there with Steve Nash kicking his dunk. The most impressive part was Steve Nash kicking the ball behind him. Yeah, sit your ass down, cuz. And then, Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon went at it. And Aaron Gordon, man, like for those of you who don't know who this kid is, he got hurt last year, so he wasn't able to I guess showcase himself coming out of Arizona, and then especially the fact that he played in Arizona. If you're on the East Coast, it's more of that West Coast stuff. You don't get to see it a lot, Pac-12 stuff. But yeah, that kid can jump out the gym, man, and that now. And he was tagged as the new Blake Griffin, light-skinned dude, hops, big dude. I will say this about him, like Renee's in the chat room saying that Aaron Gordon got hosed. He won that contest. Maybe kind of, sort of. The dunk that I want everybody to go back and look at this if you can. If you got like DVR, if it's still like on the sports center, look at this carefully. The dunk he did with the mascot, the one where he's like sitting down in the air. I want you guys to watch his hand. And he did it so smooth, I think it was probably worth extra points, not taking points away. If you've ever been like in high school playing around with your buddies and you see one of your buddies walking down the hallway, for those of us who were athletically inclined back in the day, you just run up and you put your hands on his shoulders and you jump, you leap over him. That's essentially what Aaron Gordon did, but you can't really see it unless you look. The way he grabs the ball, the mascot has the ball. It's like he's holding it up, but it's actually sitting on his head. So Aaron Gordon jumps and he pushes himself up even more with his arm to get that extra lift. So it's like, yeah. It looks like this dude is like 9 feet in the air with both feet up, and it was hella cool. And everyone wants to talk about people getting hosed. And look, this kid, Zach LaVine, he caught a lob from the free throw line. Like, what the hell? Like, that wasn't the most, like, jump out of your chair thing. It was really more jaw-dropping than anything. It was like, I'm sitting on my couch like, what the hell just happened? Like, what the? I actually cursed. You know what I mean? I was like, what the F just happened? This dude just jumped from the free throw line. And it, like, puts all these thoughts in your mind. Like, all right, hold on. Wait a minute. Is it easier to run and dunk it, or is it like you can't figure it out? And he did another one. We went like under the leg, kind of from the free throw line. Like to say Aaron Gordon got hosed is, it's that's a tough opinion to have, man. Like I could see if he would have won. Of course, I could see why he would have. But if not that he lost, I can see why Zach LaVine won. It was just one of those things. It was that close, and I'm not a fan, first and foremost, of anything that's subjective, like figure skating, diving. Now, I need things that involve scoring, like crossing a goal line or kicking a goal or hitting a home run, shooting the back, like things that involve you physically scoring points where you don't have to worry about someone saying, you know what? Yep, that dive was a 9.8 because he didn't point his toes all the way. Shut the hell up. No one cares, dude. Like, give me something that's wrapped around points. Now, in the last couple minutes here, because we got to get TJ Duckett on the line here in a couple minutes, I'm going to fix this whole thing, because don't expect this to be like some sort of new phenomenon where the dunk contest is going to be great again. It's not. It's not. So, if you saw that kid that came out there during, I think, was it last night during the halftime? The kid, Jordan Kilganon, he calls himself a professional dunker. Well, here's the thing, and this is what I love about white media, because they'll present something as though it hasn't already been around. Some white kid from Canada is dunking and calling himself a professional dunker, and it's like, man, that's actually a thing. No, it's always been a thing. But what I would propose is that the NBA use those guys. Offer a car or something, a Kia or something, and, $10,000, have some sort of regional competition, pick the best guys from each region, and have them show up at the All-Star game and do their thing. Because some of these dudes, like, just go on YouTube and look at some of the stuff that these dudes are doing. And they're shorter dudes. Dudes is doing like 720s. For those of you who can't count and don't know geometry, that's 2 revolutions. Not the 360, not the one time around. They're doing 720s and ignorant stuff like that. If you want to keep it fresh, and dudes that just dunk, dudes ain't worrying about getting hurt because they got a game to play tomorrow or at the end of the week. No, these are dudes that just dunk. Yeah, bring these dudes in, man. Let it ride, man. And then what you'll have is quality every year. You won't have no damn Andre Drummonds trying to make up stuff with Steve Nash. That's ridiculous. See? It's that. See how simple I did that? Yeah, patent pending, by the way. Fix the dunk contest in 2 minutes is what I just did. All right. This is One Mic with Big Mike. We're going to take a quick break here. Don't forget I'm on Spreaker.com and the app. Also, Twitter and Instagram, all at the same handle, at the number 1, MIC, WITHBIGMIKE. Make sure you guys sign up for your free Spreaker account and join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday inside the live interactive chat room like my girl Renee Cooper has. We're going to talk to TJ Duckett. He goes by Todd now, but I'll have him explain all those semantics to you here in just a second. Also, don't forget to catch me on Facebook.com/ONE, MICWITHBIGMIKE. and I'll be back in just a second.
Go Caleb! Come on, hit a homer, Jesse!
Let's go, guys!
Hey, did you guys know that kids who play sports earn more money when they grow up?
Of course. I knew that.
Hey, did you guys know that kids who read books have a bigger vocabulary?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Wow, jinx. Did you guys know that friendly children have more friends?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's true. I knew that. Did you guys know that winter babies are better at music?
Everyone knows that.
Oh, yeah?
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
obvious.
Oh, hey, guys, did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Huh, I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure I knew that.
I'm pretty sure you didn't.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You could kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
So I need to turn my mic on. Welcome back to One Mic with Big Mike. Right here on a Monday evening. Appreciate everybody out there for joining me. Don't forget I'm being broadcast via Spreaker.com and the Spreaker app every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Live at 7 p.m. You guys sign up for your free Spreaker accounts. It's absolutely free. It's just like signing up for any other social media site. And once you do that, search for my show, the number one, MICWITHBIGMIKE. Once you do that, give me a follow. And then every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7, you guys can jump on in the live interactive chat room. Holler at me. Tell me how much of an idiot I am. Introduce new topics, based on whatever we're talking about that particular night. It's pretty much a free-for-all. You know what I mean? Also, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at the number one, MICWITHBIGMIKE. And Facebook.com/ONEMICWITHBIGMIKE. And as promised, he is a former Michigan State University running back, former first-round pick of my hometown, Atlanta Falcons. If you're listening here in the city of Atlanta, your hometown Atlanta Falcons in 2002. He's now going by Todd Duckett. You guys may know him as TJ Duckett. Right. Give him a warm round of applause right quick. Now, the first thing we got to get out the way, Todd, is you got to tell the people the story. I've read it for myself, but you tell the people the story about transitioning from no longer being called TJ to now being called Todd.
Of course, yeah, man. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Well, it all started after I got done playing football. I went through a depression. I mean, being able to achieve a dream as a child and to live it and to reach it and have my identity be that for as many years and have success doing it. And the minute it was over, I had no place to latch on to. I had nothing. I had no place to call home. So in that process, I tried to figure out what else was my life about. And knowing and feeling that there was more than just being a football player, being an athlete. So I had to completely strip everything down. I went on a 40-day fast to just water. I changed the way that my name...
Back up. I think you need to repeat.
Yes, sir.
How many days?
40 days, 40 nights.
And just
40
drinking.
40 days and 40 nights.
Now, dude, you're a big dude now. Like, me and you about the same size. Yeah. Like, right now, I'm rocking about 6'1", 250. You know what I mean? I know you played at around that weight. Yeah. Like, at what point in 40 days of not eating was you like, man, yeah, I don't know if this gonna work, man. 40 days, cuz?
Well, I mean, it was, yeah, man. I mean, at that time, I was at the bottom of the pit, man. I was in the darkest space. and all I could do is rely on my religion to help me get there. And so, just like when I was emulating Walter Payton's, Jerome Bettis' running backs that I wanted to be, I wanted to emulate men and actually just people that did things throughout of life that helped humanity. The Gandhis, the Martin Luther Kings, the Malcolm X's. These are all things that these men changed the world. They cared about other people. What were some of their workouts? What were some of their techniques? And coming from different cultures and different religion, different space, they all had a 40-day fast in common. So once I noticed that, I jumped on it. And it was no different than being out in a hot summer day and your coach is telling you to run 200, 5 200s, 10 200s, 20 200s. You're going to do it if that's going to make you successful.
Yeah.
So that was what I saw. And, I mean, I lost 70 pounds. I ended up about 180 pounds, didn't recognize myself, which allowed me then to transform my mind, body, and soul into what matters now and who I am now. And that's Todd, and that's volunteering, giving, and serving, and being able to be an asset to the world in a positive way.
My man, sounds good to me. And don't forget, you guys, to follow him the way I do on Twitter and Instagram at Todd Duckett. Also, you can check him out at tjduckett.com. Now, I've got you on here. Everyone knows you're big-time running back in college, big-time running back coming out of college and in the NFL. But before we get to the sports, there's something that you're involved with, something that you're kind of at ground zero with, something that I've been talking about here on this show for a couple of weeks now, something that really has my attention a lot. It's the Flint, Michigan water crisis. Now, I need to get the latest from ground zero, because now we know about they're going to switch the water supply back. The lawsuits have started rolling in. A bunch of union plumbers donated their time to put filters in people's homes because apparently you can't bathe with bottled water. Apparently that's not a thing. So other than those things, like, what's happening now?
And those things are in full effect. What's happening now is people are just trying to understand how to survive a daily life. They went from being able to live, the way you live, turn on the faucet, do whatever you need to do, and all the things that come with everyday life. Now they're trying to figure out how do I bathe? How do I shower? And not only how do I do it, but where can I find, who allows me to pick up water? Who's going to help? Who do I trust? Who's out there really in it for us? The people have gone through so much, and to now, to really not know how long they have been drinking this water or having this water be a part of their life. It's a different thing to read about it and to see it on TV. It's completely different when you have to go there, and even when you're there, the things that you unconsciously go and wash your hands, and that's what you're used to.
Right.
And you can't do that. You unconsciously may see a drinking fountain. What really touched me, one of the many things I did was we went to an elementary school. We go to this elementary school, and I remember when kids used to want to be the ones to take the chalkboard erasers to the cleaner. You know what I'm saying? You want to go clean the eraser.
Right.
Man, you got kids now, the same kids, they go into the auditorium to get a case of water just to wheel back to their room. It's just different to see and to hear people talk. There's a group that I'm involved with called Voices for Flint, and we just started telling the stories of what's going on from the people. And to hear the people talk, you don't. It's touching when a father tells his 4-year-old daughter that it's bath time, and she goes and gets a bottle of water and stands by the fireplace.
Damn.
That's not what it's about as a kid, but that's what they know. And so the resilience, the way that they will overcome this is there. Right now, it's just trying to figure out how are we going to survive it and what are our resources allow us to get there in a better way. And
speaking of kids, man, the thing that really caught my ear about this was when the doctor started talking. And she started talking about how lead not only could affect a kid today, like the kids that are drinking it now, it's like a generational thing. Things like learning disabilities, things like even criminality has been linked to lead intake. And I'm like, man, that to me that's a crime against a society. And I'm asking you, I'm stating it that way because I want to know, what are the developments in possibly prosecuting the governor that made the call on switching over the water source?
I know that's out of where my range right there, man. I don't know, because a lot of people are pointing fingers. They're saying they did it. They saying they didn't know. I mean, so many people are pointing fingers, but okay, it's here. It happened. Let's try to figure out what we can do to fix it.
Right.
What we can do to make it better. I mean, we having so many babies being born not breathing because of the amniotic fluid is poison, is lead in it from the mother drinking water. I mean, thinking they're doing what's right. I mean, there's so many things. Talking to another guy, talking about how it's similar conditions to being in a third world country or being in jail.
That's exactly what I thought about.
You don't have the freedom. And this is a guy, he said he's been to prison before, and when he was in prison, the water was the same scenario. So then he wants to change his life to do right because he has a family now, and he's still living caged up. I mean, it's powerful to think how these men and women are having to deal with this without no guide, without no handbook. They're just saying, here, this is a problem that you didn't create. Now you and your family figure it out, live through it, life or death situations, God be with you. It's tough, man. It's tough to deal with.
In America. He's TJ Duckett. You guys know him as TJ Duckett. He's now known as Todd Duckett, former Michigan State running back, former first-round pick of the Atlanta Falcons in 2002. Make sure you guys are following him the way I do, at Todd Duckett on Twitter and Instagram, and check his website out, tjduckett.com. One last thing about this particular issue before we move on to the sports topic. A lot of celebrities have shown their face, and them standing in front of a bunch of bottled water and talking about them delivering water to the people of Flint. How is that? How are those type of photo ops being received in that area of the country? Because I know people around here think it's great, but in reality, it's still bottled water. And you're talking to me about kids taking bottled water baths by a fireplace. It just seems like, it is what it is.
It is, 100%. Right now, everyone has to get what they can get. And if that is people taking pictures in front of huge bottles of water or huge crates and pallets, then let's make sure that people get them pallets and make sure that people have a chance to utilize that water. I mean, we're only talking about this the winter now. Imagine when people are outside, kids are outside running and sweating. Yeah. They're going to need to replenish themselves. I mean, just sitting there in the summertime, you're going to need to drink more water. So, I mean, right now there's no solution. So since there's nothing new, we need to continue to get what we can, whether that's water, whether that's attention, whether that's awareness, whatever that is. We need to keep that energy there to allow those people to know, one, that we still believe and there's still hope, but also hopefully that brings a solution quicker for them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. All right, now to some sports stuff, some things that, basically, I'm not gonna front. Since you've been here, these are questions that I've been wanting to ask you about, and now I think they're a little bit more pointed now, seeing as to where the position that you played, running back, is headed. Like you were one of the guys at the forefront of that. At the beginning of the whole thunder, lightning, running back by committee thing, and now it's pretty much the norm. So I want to ask you, a guy who went through that, give me the positives and the negatives of playing in a system in where you're not the bell cow, the 20-25 touch a game guy, and you have to split your carries with another player.
Yeah, no doubt, definitely. Well, to jump into the positives, man, you sharing the load, so your body's not getting beat down in the same way, but also you're giving good looks to the other team. So big back comes in, big back situations, little back comes in, little back situations, or vice versa. You get a chance to keep the defense off balance. You get a chance to utilize different specialties that they have. Ultimately, the game of football is to score and stop us. So to be able to have a team that's built around a multi-back feature, I mean, that's the easiest way. That way they can get some type of use to what's back in the game. The part of the negative, though, is you don't have a chance to really get warm. Mm-hmm. You can't really get the defense. You can't wear the defense down like you want to. You can't really get in the flow of the game like you want to. So it's a difference where you can jump in the game and, by 10, 15 carries, you already got everybody flowing. You can cut back in no time. You've been setting this up all game. You've been wearing them down all game. Other times it's different when you come in the game and they know you're the big back and you know it's 3rd and 1 and they know you're getting the ball. but you still got to stop them. You see what I'm saying? So I think if you can have, biggest thing, if you can have both backs be on the same page and not be selfish, and both of them are working for an end goal to be that champion or whatever it means to that team, if you have both backs or even three backs committed to that, you should have three healthy backs by the end of the year that are ready to go no matter the scenario.
What's going on in the world of college football where now a first-round running back is an anomaly? Like, you came out in the first round, and it wasn't a big deal. Like, good running backs got taken in the first round. Now, for a running back like last year, two went. One ended up producing very well in Todd Gurley. The other one, Melvin Gordon, kind of struggled the way you would anticipate a rookie running back struggling a little bit. But even up to last year, it's a big deal. Like running backs getting taken in the first round. What's going on with the feeder system, the college ranks that are
I'm gonna say part of it might be the amount of carries these guys get. I mean, Gordon, he had almost the most yards, if not the most yards in the history of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a lot of mileage. I mean, to have a guy running back with a lot of mileage, and then the difference also could be depending on the caliber of running back, depending on what program they come in from. Are they pro ready? Are they able to pick up these blitzes? Are they able to train? But if they have a lot of mileage on them, and they already have a pull here or a nick there, I mean, they jump into that 17, 18-week season. I mean, that's going to wear any rookie down.
Yeah.
And especially if you are the one carrying the mail and you don't have a lot of help up front, that's going to wear you down even more. So, I mean, you're going to have some special guys that are able to come out and understand what it means to be a big back, little back, whatever they are. But going to that next level, they got to be a ball player.
It's One Mike with Big Mike talking right now to former Michigan State running back, former first-round pick of the Atlanta Falcons in 2002. You guys know him as TJ Duckett. He is now known as Todd Duckett. Follow him online, Twitter and Instagram, at Todd Duckett. I want to ask you about one of your former teammates, Michael Vick.
Yeah.
One of the more polarizing, iconic figures right here in my hometown of Atlanta. Following his jail stint, he came out and was very forthright about the fact that he didn't work as hard as he probably should have. He didn't study the game as much as he should have. Now, it's kind of a combo question. As his teammate, did you see those things? And whether you saw them or not, I want you to tell the people how that affects the success of a team when the quote-unquote leader is not leading the way as far as the preparation goes.
Well, I mean, true. Like, I mean, Vic, he did. I mean, it's a long time ago, man. You know what I'm saying? He came, he did his dues, he paid his dues, and to his teammates, I mean, he did what he had to do. He did his job, and I never saw anything different. But I mean, no matter if it's a quarterback, linebacker, whoever, coach, if a leader ain't providing what the leader needs to provide, they're not getting the job done. And that's across the board in any scenario. But as far as what he did off the field, I think he really paid his dues and served his time, and we should move on from there.
I want to touch on something that you mentioned earlier. You said like post a lot of guys now are retiring at earlier ages, and I suspect it's because, one, financially they're equipped to, and then two, the education of what the game of football does to the human brain is more readily available. You talked about retiring and falling into a dark place. Were you or are you now concerned going forward about some of the things that you put your body through as a player?
No, I'm not concerned about it just because. I mean, you never know. You never know what's out there. You never know how your body's gonna react. Yeah, it was a especially the way I ran.
Right, you're a big back, a bruising dude.
Yeah, it was a hard style, and I mean, that was the price you had to pay for the job. You know what I mean? That was part of it, and I hope now that I still eat right, I still work out, I still do the things that take care of my mind, my body, my soul, I mean, doing crossword puzzles, doing different things to keep your brain active.
Right.
All those things I still do. I mean, as long as you do that, like any other person, I mean, things happen. You know, life happens. But speaking on my own self, the passion was gone. Didn't want to do it anymore, and thought there was something else I could do. And in the meantime, still have to strengthen your mind, your body, and your soul.
Now, I don't know if you have any kids or if you plan on, but if you do or if you plan on having a son, would little TJ play football?
Oh yeah, I do have a son. He's 2 right now.
Okay.
And if he wants to play, he can go ahead and play. Go for it.
My man.
You know, go for it. Have fun.
Tell me about. Go ahead. Tell me about New World Flood. Tell me about that.
New World Flood, flooding the world to giving and service a single raindrop at a time. That's my nonprofit that I started about 5 years ago. And our whole mission is for people to believe in themselves from the inside out, knowing that one act of kindness, one positive thought, one positive action can have an impact that changes the world. I mean, we do multiple things, giving Thanksgiving dinners, 1,700 Thanksgiving dinners to families here in Michigan, 2,000 backpacks to families in Michigan. Really get involved. You can check out our site, www.newworldflood.org for more info, but it's all about giving back from the inside out and being true to who you are.
Now, you said, you talked about when you're on your fast, dropping down, you said about 180, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, so where you at now?
Oh, I'm probably about 230 now.
230.
240.
Now, what you mentioned? Because I'm reading that, in the good old days, in the heyday, you was at like 500. That's that bend the bar weight, cuz.
Yeah, no reason for that, man. If anything, I can show you a couple of yoga poses or something. You know what
my man. On that jailhouse workout, couple push-ups, couple sit-ups, and keep it moving.
I ain't got 300 pounders chasing me no more.
I know that's right. I know that's right. One last thing before we let you go, and I definitely appreciate your time. He's former Michigan State running back and former Atlanta Falcon running back, as well as who else he played for? The Redskins, played for the Seahawks, the Lions. Long-time NFL running back. He is Todd Duckett. You guys may know him as TJ Duckett. Follow him online on Twitter and Instagram at Todd Duckett. Now, your former head coach at Michigan State, Nick Saban. Give me some insight, some reflection, some reflection on the things that you saw out of him early on when you played at Michigan State that would have led you to believe that he would be this godlike figure down in Alabama, winning championships every damn year.
I mean, he was that way at Michigan State, man. The attention to detail, the focus, the commitment, the passion that he has, and the way that he generates and pushes it all into his young men to make them better players and holds them accountable and shows them the process. Coach Saban is teaching these young men how to be men after the game. He's taking some of the most talented people in the United States, getting them all focused on the same page, and then he's going out and winning championships. And he's having kids graduate. I mean, the guy, if he would have been at Michigan State a little bit longer, we would have had a shot too. You know, any place he goes, he commits to it. He holds players, he holds coaches, he holds universities accountable for what needs to be done, and then he goes and does it. I mean, I love the dude. He's great. I love the way he coaches, and I love his passion.
You think Alabama's his last stop?
It should be. Unless he he should be.
No more NFL for him? The Miami thing is the last?
No reason. He did that.
Because you hear people talking about how a dude that it could get boring to him. I don't know how winning gets boring. Just like I don't know how you can have too much money, but people say this.
It can get boring because every year he gets a new group of freshmen that come in. Every year a new group of freshmen come in. And those freshmen, when they come in, I mean that's a new group that he has to train and bring them on. And ultimately, every year, everybody wants to beat him, so he still has to come back up to the plate. So, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. Ain't nothing wrong with being able to drive your car without having no payment. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my man. TJ, man, I appreciate you taking out the time to join me, man. It was very, very educational.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one, my man.
You too, boss.
He's TJ Duckett, former Michigan State running back, former Atlanta Falcons running back, as well as a gamut of other teams, the Washington Redskins, the Detroit Lions, the Seattle Seahawks. Make sure you guys follow him on Twitter at Todd Duckett. Like I said, he goes by Todd now. or you can check him out on his website, tjduckett.com. If you want to find out about some of his philanthropic, is that word right? Am I saying that right? Philanthropic work. You guys go to newworldflood.org, man. TJ Duckett doing big things. Todd Duckett, doing big things post-career. And I like talking to dudes who've had their share of success and now are on the other side of things. And as you see, like certain guys, like Charles Woodson, he's going to go straight from the field to the broadcast booth. You see those guys, you think it's just that way. But then you got a guy like TJ Duckett that it took some time. And he had to find himself, man. If you guys go to, where did I see that article? At the Falcoholic. It was an article done about a year ago, and it details some of the things that he had to go through as a retired football player, being a kid who knew that's what he wanted to do from the time he put on a pair of pads and a helmet, a set of pads and a helmet, to the time he was 30-something years old, and it was over. Like you say, he just lost the passion for it. It was time to move on. And when he moved on, the question was, oh, crap, like, what am I moving on to? But I think from hearing him talk and reading about him, he's found his way. He's found a thing that is going to people talk about filling that hole, that hole, that void that's left when the cheering stops. And he's found it in one of probably the best ways, giving to other people and enriching other people's lives through philanthropy. I heard Renee told me last week that he played Santa Claus. By the way, that dude beer game is on 10, cuz like my joint is yeah. And I mean, every day I look at myself, it's like, man, it's time to cut this joint off, man. It ain't acting right. You know what I mean? It's like Pops from Friday, like his hair, but it's on my face. You know what I mean? But yeah, keep pushing on. I still got a fine woman. She's still here, even though I didn't go broke for Valentine's Day. Which, by the way, like, the real deal is we got bigger agendas around my house, man. And I don't want to get on the whole Valentine. And you know what, too? I behaved myself yesterday as well. Like, usually on, like, stupid holidays, I get on Instagram and Twitter and, like, post a bunch of ignorance and stupidity. And I didn't do that yesterday. I did do a couple, but, I ain't, like, usually I go, like, back to back to back for probably, like, an hour or two of just ridiculous internet ignorance. But, I kept myself to a minimum yesterday and let you guys enjoy your fake, phony holiday, your organized, planned love. And some of you dudes are ridiculous too, man. Like this whole notion of like, she better get me something. She better not give me that old that I've been getting. All right, sweet. Yeah, like that sounds like something that's gonna last. And I say that tongue firmly pressed in cheek. Yeah, but I don't know. Your guys' ridiculousness is what fuels my fire every day or every other day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on Spreaker.com and the Spreaker app. So you guys make sure you tell a friend to check out the show. Spread the word. Sign up for your free Spreaker account. Search for my show, the number 1, MICWITHBIGMIKE. Once you do that, follow me. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, there'll be a little bitty thought bubble dancing around on the bottom of the screen. And you guys can click on that and join the interactive chat room. Share your thoughts with me. You can call me any kind of names you want. The skin is as thick as it's going to get. Or, we can just clown around and have a good time. Or you can just clown around with somebody else in the chat room. I don't care. Like I say, this is all free for all. I do it for the love and hopefully for the check coming up here pretty soon. Thanks once again to Renee Cooper, man, for hooking up that Todd Duckett interview, man. I love talking to insightful people. Like so many other former athletes that you guys hear on television or see on television and hear on your radios, they're idiots. And they all say the same thing, well, you got to control the trenches and you got to blah, 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 and cliche here and buzzword this. And then you get nothing out of it. There's a dude that actually is not just for the spotlight and for, people they take a bunch of camera crew to a children's hospital. This dude's second chapter of his life, man. This is the is the part 2, man. This is his life's work now, man. And for what it's worth, I don't know him personally, but I'm proud, man. I'm proud to know that he's doing these things, man. And I feel like more people, should take a good look inside themselves, and man, and understand that there are more like you behind you. Throw that rope back and pull them dudes forward, man. We'll be back with the second hour of the show. I'm going to talk about this Peyton Manning situation. We can talk about a little bit more of the All-Star stuff because there's not really a lot on my plate today. I don't have really a whole lot of stuff on my notes today, so we're going to get through this Peyton Manning thing, and then I'm going to let you guys go, man. I'm not going to hold you all night if I don't have a bunch of crap to say. It's just what it is, man. We'll do it next right here, One Mic with Big Mike.
Hi, I'm Layla Ali. I might be undefeated in professional boxing, but there's one problem even I can't fight alone. Childhood hunger. Over 17 million kids in America may not know where their next meal is coming from. That's 1 in 5 children. Yet billions of pounds of surplus food produced right here in America just get thrown out every year. That's more than enough to feed every last hungry child. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gathers surplus food and gets it to hungry kids before it goes to waste. But they can't do it without your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank by going to feedingamerica.org. Together we can knock out hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
To help solve hunger in your community and to find your local food bank, visit feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
One mic.
All I need is one mic.
What's the name of the show?
One mic with Big Mike.
Ain't nobody getting hurt, ain't nobody, there's no crime being committed.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
This is real life stuff that's happened to me.
Well, you know what?
You, and you.
One mic with Big Mike.
I like to be able to do what I want to do.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limits.
Meek Mill's concert is not called the Hell Yeah I Bang Khloe Kardashian concert.
And now, your host.
Put your hands together for the one, the only
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Welcome back to the second hour of One Mic, the One Mic with Big Mike show. I don't know why I just said that like that. Right here on Spreaker.com and the app for all of your mobile devices. You guys make sure you sign up for your free Spreaker account and then follow my show, the number one, MICWITHBIGMIKE. That's One Mic with Big Mike. You guys can also use that same handle for my Twitter and Instagram. Also, make sure you guys, once you follow me, check me out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday live at 7 p.m. You guys can jump on in the live interactive chat room. Right now, Renee is berating me. Well, she has berated me for being a holiday hater. You'll catch on, Renee. You'll find out life is a lot easier and a lot better when you take those manufactured principles that people pump into these special days and you spread them out through the other days of the world, of the year, I should say. It'll make the world a whole lot better place. You know what I mean? If people were thankful every day for what they have, you know what I mean? Then let me wait until the end of November and then go out there and fight people in Walmart for Xbox 360s the next day. It's so ridiculous, man. It's so ridiculous. It's the way things are just orchestrated. I just don't want to be a hamster, man. You know what I mean? I don't want to be a hamster or a sheep. I like to just march to the beat of my own drum. You know what I mean? Like right now, if my woman come up here and she say she needs something, I tell her to go get the wallet and take the card out and get it. It ain't got to be whatever. What is Valentine's? February 14th. It ain't got to be that. If she do it next week, I don't know. I feel like I'm an alien sometimes. I'm just out here on my own mental space. Maybe that's why I'm able to do this, because I am such an alien. Also, you know what? Oh, tonight, one of my favorite shows is coming on, the spinoff to Breaking Bad. What is it called? I think it's called just Call Saul, right? or Somebody Call Saul, whatever. You know, the lawyer from the Breaking Bad series, he got a series now on what is it, FX, I think. I don't know, but it starts back tonight, and yeah, I'm all about that. Also, as I sit here and look at I got some brand new stickers of my logo and the time of the show and my little. It says, "Just one man, his mic, and his thoughts on sports and life." So I got these little stickers. I got like 100 of them. Then I'm gonna be riding around the city of ATL and putting them on places, you know. And you know what I'll do too? I'll do like little contests. I got some stuff in here that I was trying to give it away last month. Brand new era ball caps, fitted. No, they ain't fitted. They snapbacks. No one took me up on it. So I'll do something with these stickers after I get them all up around the city. You guys can take pictures of them and tweet at me, and you know, I'll shoot you something for it. You know, just because I'm that kind of guy. Before I forget, we got to take our look back, right? We got to go back in the annals of sports and tell you guys about some of the historical things that happened on this particular day, and we call it On This Day.
Now, let's take a look back. On this day.
All right. Okay. I guess this is a pretty slow week. No real sports going on, and I guess it's been that way throughout history because On This Day is pretty short as well. On this day in 1946, Edith Houghton, at age 33, was signed as a baseball scout by the Philadelphia Phillies, becoming the first female scout in the major leagues. Here it is. That's 1946, and cats is still getting their panties in a bunch in 2016 about women being a part of predominantly male sports as coaches or administrators or whatnot. Yeah, man. I told you guys last week, my attitude towards antiquated ways of thinking, that's the way it's always been. Okay, slavery. End of conversation. You know what I mean? You can't win that one. On this day in 1953, the first American to win the Women's World Figure Skating Championship was 17-year-old Tinley Albright. Also on this day in 1961, the entire U.S. figure skating team of 18, they died in a Belgian Sabino 707 crash. That's pretty sad and morbid. On this day in 1962, CBS bought the exclusive rights to college football games from the National Collegiate Athletic Association, the NCAA holes, for a figure of $10,200,000. That's like chump change now, man. It's like going for gotta be like $1 billion or more. On this day in 1965, NFL teams pledged not to sign college seniors until they had completed all of their games, including bowl games. So I guess dudes was getting on teams like, hey, last game up, I'm going to the Packers, you know what I mean? And then go play the Orange Bowl. That sounds weird. On this day in 1974, Phil Esposito of the Boston Bruins scored his 1,000th NHL point. On this day in 1975, Yvonne, don't know this name, Cournoyer of the Montreal Canadiens scored 5 goals and 2 assists against the Chicago Blackhawks. On this day in 1978, Leon Spinks, toothless Leon, beat the great Muhammad Ali in 15 damn rounds for the World Heavyweight crown. On this day in 1980, the great one, Wayne Gretzky, now of the Edmonton Oilers, tied an NHL record with 7 assists in a game against the Washington Capitals. Gretzky also set a rookie record of 96 points. On this day in 1996, the NCAA Football Rules Committee voted to require a tiebreaker in all NCAA football games. If you're old enough to remember, games used to end in a tie. When no overtime, you just like, okay, everybody got 10 points. Let's go home. Yeah, you're now 7-1-1. And finally, on this day in 1998, Junior. Or wait a minute. When did Dale Earnhardt Jr. die? Or Dale Earnhardt Sr. I don't know if this is senior or junior, so I'm not going to say either one. Dale Earnhardt, he won NASCAR's Daytona 500 for the first time. The win occurred on his 20th attempt. I'm almost tempted to say in 98, that would have been senior. Dale Earnhardt Sr. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your Monday, your post All-Star Weekend, NBA All-Star Weekend edition of On This Day. All right. Now, to what we're talking about today, the big thing we're talking about today. You know, I played around a little bit with that All-Star Game stuff, but to get a little bit more serious and to add a little bit of perspective to what the hot topic was over the weekend, and you know, of course, it had to bleed into today. Before I go any further, let me let you guys know I had TJ Duckett on at 7:30, and Wednesday. Make sure you guys are tuned in. We're going to talk some NFL draft and combine stuff with my guy Alex Kovtov of NFLDraftBlitz.com. And on Friday, Gerald Brown, the host of the Bottom Line Sports Show on SiriusXM, going to talk some hoops with him, get into the backside, not the second half, that's ridiculous, the backside of the NBA schedule. We're going to find out if he thinks the Golden State Warriors can get to that mighty mark, beating the Chicago Bulls 72-10 record. I want to find out from him what he like. It's going to be post trade deadline. The trade deadline is Thursday, so we'll get a chance to find out what teams, especially contenders, look a little bit different, and if the different look of those teams is going to help them, you know, throughout make a playoff run. The Hawks, man, are in a lot of people's conversations, man. Guys like Jeff Teague, Al Horford, Kyle Korver, Dennis Schroeder. The Hawks are in a lot of people's conversations when it comes to people adding parts from this team, and I don't hear a lot coming back. Like I heard today, Dwight Howard. Yeah, good freaking luck with that. Yeah, he's a broken human being with no particular skill set anymore. No outstanding skill set. Yeah, have fun, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Dwight coming home. All right. Well, remember last time you had a player of, you know, substantial ilk playing at home? Yeah, his name was Josh Smith. Anybody? Bueller? Yeah. Let's move right along here. So, over the weekend, a guy named Sean King. Some of you may know him as a bit of an activist. Let's call him an activist for lack of a better term, right? Involved in, like, I think there was some sort of, you know, thing between he and the Black Lives Matter people. I saw an article today that was titled "What Happened to All the Money Sean King Donated to Black Lives Matter," because I guess they had some sort of falling out. Anyway, he wrote something. The first article he wrote was right along his right in his wheelhouse, and it was an article about the disparity in the coverage between Cam Newton and Peyton Manning, the two quarterbacks of Super Bowl 50. That led to people posting, you know, comments on his Facebook page or whatnot. And in one of the comments, someone mentioned a 1996 instance in where Peyton Manning was accused of sexual assault on the campus of the University of Tennessee, which is where he played his college football. So Sean King went to digging, and then he wrote an article detailing the incidents and basically talking about how, not even basically, just talking about how Peyton and his dad Archie buried the allegation. Now, the reason this is pointed, and this is the reason that this is something that is currently also being mentioned. That is also currently being mentioned. I think I said it right the first time. Is because of what I mentioned to you guys on Friday. These 6 young ladies that are suing the University of Tennessee for what they're saying created a, let's call it a sexually deviant atmosphere on that campus, in particular as it relates to the football program or athletes in general. And in their complaint, they cite instances all the way back to 1996 and Peyton Manning. So this is one of those things that's kind of been bubbling a little bit. You know what I mean? It's kind of been just sitting there brewing. And I'm gonna tell you this. I love it when people feel like that's probably the one thing that I'll praise, like the social media, I guess era that we're in for, is like uncovering a lot of the crap that people thought that they were able to uncover because they were only dealing with a select group of people, and they could bury certain issues. Bill Cosby, yeah. Like, for people who think that all this stuff is coming out of the blue right now, nah, this stuff has been cooking for 20 years. But my man had the influence, and he made the right deals with the right people to keep it under wraps, to keep it, kind of pushed into its own little corner. But all it took was, moderately known comedian, Hannibal Buress, to get on stage and someone have their phone at the event where he's talking about Bill Cosby being a rapist. And now people who are doing the job of journalists now in 2016, that curiosity went off. I can't think of the guy's name, but his curiosity went off and said, what the hell is this dude talking about? Bill Cosby a rapist? Is there something to this? And yes. The old Google machine told on old Cliff Huxtable. And I'm all about that, especially when it comes to doing something. When you terrorize people, and when you affect people's lives in the way that I can only assume, being a man, I can only assume that it affects the victim of a sexual assault. Yeah, I'm all about that coming undone, thread by thread. Let it come undone. And I feel the same way about Peyton Manning. I don't give a damn who people tell me who is, and I keep telling y'all and anybody else who will listen to me, like, stop going that hard for anybody. I don't care if you know them. Because nobody, very few people, I'm not going to be that absolute with my comment. Very few people are the same person to everybody. You know what I mean? Like, let's go all the way back to Penn State and Jerry Sandusky and Joe Paterno and all those kind of, and those people, right? Like, Jerry Sandusky was on that campus doing crazy stuff to little boys, man, for 3 decades. I mean, it was even described as a joke amongst players. They'd be on the bus, like, going to practice or whatever, going to the game, and, like, be joking about it. I mean, not knowing that it was true, but, what kids do. Chester, child molester, all this kind of stuff. All right? Only to find out that the people in charge knew what was going on, and no one can tell me anything different. Like, if like, that's Joe Paterno's man, right? And you tell your man, look, dude, don't be bringing no more kids on this campus. Why? You told him for a reason. Yeah, like, stuff like that. This is why you can't, like, Joe Paterno is this great coach or whatever. Yeah, he's this great father. Okay, but he also harbored a pedophile. And that kind of cancels those other two things out. You know what I mean? I remember being on the radio when that stuff broke, and I asked the question, just kind of like threw this question out there, like, who's worse? Like, if some dude lives next door to you, right, and he's cutting up bodies and, he's murdering folks, and it's happening, but you don't say nothing. Like, who's worse? The dude who can claim to have some sort of mental disorder, or the dude that just sat by and watched it happen when he or she could have stopped it? And I don't know that. I definitely don't know the answer, man. But I warn people, man, don't paint yourself into a corner when it comes to human beings, because we're too complex of people for anyone to assume that somebody is one thing all the time. So Peyton Manning, everybody's, God-fearing, funny pitchman, Saturday Night Live, greatest quarterback of all time. Yeah, all those things can be true. But what can also be true is that he sexually assaulted. Don't minimize. I heard this today on Colin Cowherd. You minimize things and start calling it a lewd act. All right. You got a daughter, homeboy. Somebody puts their testicles and their anus in her face and rests their penis on her head. What are you calling it? Like, I hate that stuff, man. Just because it don't apply to you, man, don't mean that it's not as severe. Or just because you like the person that's being accused of these things, and you don't want to feel wrong about this person, you'll find any reason and anybody else to blame for what's happening. Nah, because the problem is, like, people like me are literate and can read. You know what I mean? So while they depend on a lot of people, Jason Whitlock and dudes like that, they depend on a lot of people to be listening to these radio shows and getting their information directly from them and not looking and reading for themselves. Not your boy. Because I think everybody, for the most part, is full of it. So I sat there Saturday? Maybe it was yesterday, and just read this whole article, man. And it goes past the realm of the sexual assault. Like, yeah, that's the first offense, right? And then people start talking about it's alleged, and the document that he's reporting about in his writing is a one-sided document. But wait a minute, let's back up. Because if you actually read it, you understand that there are certain things on there that ain't got nothing to do with him. It ain't got nothing to do with being one-sided. There are quotes in there. There's actual sworn testimony in there. There's actual evidence. Like when because he did interject himself into the article. He did kind of make himself a part of it by interjecting his opinion. Because for those of you who don't know, that's who this guy is. I actually had a text conversation with one of my closest friends. Because I was trying to remember, someone told me that they knew this cat a while ago, and I couldn't remember who did it. So I'm like texting people, was that you? They told me you know this kid, Sean King, and then my man was like, yeah, I knew him a couple years ago. We had some dealings with him or whatnot, and I asked him, like, is he kind of like a sketchy dude? Like, what are we talking about here? And he was like, I don't really know him like that, but I know the stuff that you're talking about, and he's a guy who. People claim that he's like this big time activist, or he's a guy who speaks out a lot for the black community. He finds race in every situation and tries to illuminate it in every situation. Like I say, this is how this whole thing started with him comparing the coverage, the way the media is covering Cam Newton versus the way they would cover Peyton Manning, and then you find out that a lot of the media members, and I heard a lot of them today, and I'll give credit. Something that I don't think I hear much. On ESPN, guys saying they dropped the ball. Like they heard about the story but didn't really give it any credence and just kept it moving. And I think that's the trick to be played. But anyway, back to this kid, Sean King. He's got some things. People accuse him of actually being white and passing himself off as black, saying he's got 2 white parents on his birth certificate. That he made up some stories about some racial incidents in his past. A couple little sketchy things about him. But again, I don't know anybody who has, a clean folder. I don't know anybody who does. You know what I mean? And I think if you want to discredit him, fine. But the things that are factual about what he wrote, don't just try to kill the messenger. They did the same thing with the same person, Peyton Manning, with this Al Jazeera stuff, right? And tried to make it seem like this was some sort of bum ass, somebody in their basement writing a blog news organization. When no, it's a very legitimate news organization. As legitimate as you can consider CNN or MSNBC or these people. But because, a lot of people may not have heard of Al Jazeera or Al Jazeera America, it's easy for people to just knock it down and be like, them people don't know what the hell they talking about. Well, okay, let's assume that's true. But let's not act as though this kid, what's his name, Charlie Sly, wasn't on camera saying that they sent HGH to Peyton Manning's wife in Florida. And while some other guys, Ryan Howard and Ryan Zimmerman, said we're going to take these people to court for defamation for reporting this stuff, Peyton Manning says, well, I might sue. But in the meantime, he's sending goons over to this kid's parents' house to dig up dirt on them. See, that's where this whole sexual assault thing, that's where it morphed into something different. Where the Manning family start acting like the damn Gestapo and going after people and trying to intimidate this girl. Well, she's not a girl, she's a grown woman. She's a doctor. And like people try to say like athletic trainer like it's something little. This lady's an accomplished doctor. and they've ruined her career. How much time I got? I got like 6 minutes in this segment. So I'm going to start pointing out some things to you from the article in case, you guys ain't got time to read all this crap a lot of times. And it's fine, and I understand that. So that's why I'm here. You know what I mean? To kind of give you an additional perspective on what it is that we're talking about. And golly, do I even have the damn article here? About I have his stuff. Let me tell you guys first what Jason Whitlock said about this guy, Sean King. He says, quote, "The guy that wrote the story for the New York Daily News, he's not a journalist." Here's the thing. It's 2015, man. Everybody is, essentially. Everybody with a phone is a journalist, is a cameraman, is a reporter. That's what it is now. I mean, Jason Whitlock he's such a back in the day thinking, like, come on, man, step your game up, cuz. He says, quote unquote, he's a race hustler from Twitter, from the Black Lives Matter movement, who stirs racial controversy to elevate himself. He might as well be talking about his damn self. He goes on to say, listen, the guy has been busted. First of all, he's white and representing himself as black. He said as a child in high school, he was allegedly attacked by a group of white people because he was black. Well, he wasn't black. And there were people saying that wasn't why he was attacked. It had something to do with him beating up a girl or something, was what the allegations are. Continuing, and there's no proof of it. He said that it was the first hate crime in Kentucky or whatever. Whitlock also argued that if Manning did what he's accused of, quote, if he sat on a female's face with his butt and ball, just one, I guess, a teammate would have knocked Manning out. Here's the thing. Not really. And then I was in Tennessee. I was in school. I was in college in Tennessee, not the University of Tennessee. I went to Tennessee Tech University. But I was in the state at the time when Peyton Manning played. No one, you understand me? Like, God wasn't touching Peyton Manning at that time, cause it was. So for this dude to say one of his teammates would have knocked him out, you crazy as hell. And as a matter of fact, they tried to get one of his teammates to lie for him, and the dude didn't, and he lost his scholarship. Yeah, he tried to say, they tried to turn into this whole mooning situation. He tried to moon the guy, and when he turned around, her face just happened to be under his balls. My God. Yeah, everybody's that stupid. You know what I mean? It's like, come on now, don't question people's intelligence now. Now that you busted, because that's a terrible reason, or a terrible lie. Jason Whitlock goes on to say this about Sean King, that he helped set an inaccurate narrative by representing the allegations contained in the document released on Saturday as not as accusations, but as an undeniable fact. See, here's the problem. That in many cases, so that the school settled the first thing, and then there was like a gag order put on the situation, and then Peyton Manning and his dad violated the gag order by smearing this woman's name in a book that they wrote, and then she sued them in like 2003, which they settled that as well. It didn't actually go to court. But in the article, there are actual factual things. There are quotes. There are testimony. There's testimony. There's quotes from a judge in this article. So it's not just all him saying Peyton Manning did this, Peyton Manning did this. That doesn't make for good reading, because anybody can see through that. Like, even me, I ain't the smartest dude in the world, but hell, I can see through that. I just think it's weird, man, this thing that we do in society, man, where we put these people on these pedestals, and when we're told and when we're shown that they don't belong there, that this ain't that, this ain't one of those situations where that you're going to be disappointed, basically. Peyton Manning's not just going to get a chance to ride off to the sunset. At some point, he's going to have to answer for what he's done, man. And like I said, it goes beyond just him sexually assaulting this girl or this female. it's the stuff that went on after that, the intimidation. I'm gonna find the article that I pulled earlier, and when I come back, I'm gonna read to you guys some of the things that I highlighted off of it, and they're very eye catching, and they're very some of them are very disturbing. This is One Mic with Big Mike. I'm on Spreaker.com every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7. Make sure you guys follow me on Spreaker by signing up for your free Spreaker account and searching for my show at the number 1 MIC, WITHBIGMIKE. Use that handle for Twitter and Instagram as well. As far as Facebook goes, my Facebook page is facebook.com/ONE MIC, WITHBIGMIKE. And I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Hi, I'm Layla Ali. I might be undefeated in professional boxing, but there's one problem even I can't fight alone: childhood hunger. Over 17 million kids in America may not know where their next meal is coming from. That's 1 in 5 children. Yet billions of pounds of surplus food produced right here in America just get thrown out every year. That's more than enough to feed every last hungry child. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gathers surplus food and gets it to hungry kids before it goes to waste. But they can't do it without your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank by going to feedingamerica.org. Together we can knock out hunger. Together we're Feeding America.
To help solve hunger in your community and to find your local food bank, visit feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Go Caleb! Come on, hit a homer, Jesse!
Let's go, guys!
Hey, did you guys know that kids who play sports earn more money when they grow up?
Of course. I knew that.
Hey, did you guys know that kids who read books have a bigger vocabulary?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Wow, jinx. Did you guys know that friendly children have more friends?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's true. I knew that. Did you guys know that winter babies are better at music?
Everyone knows that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
obvious.
Oh, hey, guys, did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Huh, I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure I knew that.
I'm pretty sure you didn't.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
All right, and welcome back for the final segment of the show of One Mic with Big Mike. Had a pretty good time talking to TJ Duckett at 7:30. Todd Duckett, former Michigan State and Atlanta Falcons running back, about a gamut of things, including the Flint, Michigan situation with the water crisis in Flint, Michigan. I'm at One Mic with Big Mike. Make sure you follow me on Spreaker.com. That's SPREAKER.com. Use that same handle for Twitter and Instagram. Also, my Facebook page is facebook.com, ONE /ONE MICWITHBIGMIKE. Make sure you guys like that page, as well as, I guess, what you do with the Facebook, post on it or whatever. Do whatever you do to Facebook pages, do it to mine. Do that. So we've been talking about this Peyton Manning situation, and I'm an idiot. I actually had this article saved, and I don't know what I did with it. I don't know where it is, man. I have it pulled up now, but it's not highlighted, man. I'm pissed about that. I am. I'm kind of PO'd about that right now because I'm better than that. I didn't look over the notes before or the articles before I sat here to do the show tonight. So I have it open, and I'll tell you guys some of the details throughout the situation. Okay, so the female in question, she ended up being the head trainer, one of the head trainers at the University of Tennessee, and at a particular time she was checking Peyton Manning's foot for a stress fracture or something like that on the training table. If you guys have ever been in the training room, you can picture this. And so he's sitting on the training room. She's down on the ground or near his feet, checking his foot. And what he's alleged to have done is slid forward and put his, as it says, his testicles and his butthole in her face and put his penis on her head. And in some kind of way, he wants people to believe, or one of the other people on the training staff, her boss, her name is Jamie Naugright, Naugright. Her boss made up this story that they end up, determining it was made up, about him attempting to moon a teammate. They even had a teammate lined up to back the story up, but what they didn't realize is the guy who they had lined up was like, "No, I'm not saying that. He was wrong. He shouldn't have done that." This kid named Malcolm Saxon, Saxon, and he subsequently lost his eligibility as a student athlete over all this mess. And he continually tried to, get at his board, get at Peyton, and like, "Look, man, just admit to doing it. Just own up to it. I'm not gonna help you out on this." This thing gets so deep to the point where she reports that, even after it was done, she reported a couple hours later what had happened. But even after it happened, he kept trying to intimidate her by simulating the same act to other people while she was watching. Treating her bad, calling her out of her name and things like that. Just real like douchebag stuff, man. Her dad got into the act, talking about he didn't like her and all this kind of stuff. They started trying to spread rumors about her going through the dorms and banging all the black guys. For whatever, there's this theme of black guys to the point where he's alleged before she, not he, some of the staff members, because she ended up being asked to leave the school over this whole thing. And she agreed. And once she agreed to, even up to the point where she was leaving, people were still coming to her saying, "You know what you could do, before you leave, just hook us up. Say it wasn't Peyton. Say it was another player. And we've even got the perfect player for you to say it is, a black dude." And she was like, "No, hell no, I'm not doing that." And, it's smart not to do that, because guess what? And these are the parts that are alleged, by the way, the things that I'm talking about now. But there are the stuff about the guy, the Saxon teammate. No, those are all quotes. Those are quotes of him in this document, this legal document, saying that, no, they asked me to lie and say he tried to moon me, and that didn't happen. So, no, I'm not saying that. And subsequently, he lost his athletic eligibility. Those things are there. They're not to be interpreted. They're not to be, this is Sean King's opinion. And I learned today also that he wasn't the only one that wrote the story this weekend. But he seemed to be the low-hanging fruit. Because he's got some douchey stuff, some douchey stuff about him. No doubt about it. But he's not the only outlet, and the New York Daily News is not the only outlet that wrote about this story. But he's the one that people like Jason Whitlock are able to attack and say, "Well, he's not a journalist. What do you got to be? Be able to write?" You know what I mean? And, Jason Whitlock talks about interviewing him for his website, the old ESPN website, I don't know what it was called, Undefeated, that never, ever, ever, ever took off. Yeah. So who cares? You know what I mean? You interviewed a dude for a job that wasn't ever there anyway. Good luck. Like I said, where I see the flaws at is the fact that, it did follow this whole, this sense of Cam Newton's being done wrong. And because of the guy, it's the messenger sometimes. Sometimes the message gets convoluted per the messenger. A guy who is known to be a little bit of a rebel rouser when it comes to black and white relations or racial relations. For him to follow up one article saying that this black quarterback is being done wrong, and then coming back and saying, "But look what this white quarterback did." It does give off a sketchy vibe, but it doesn't give people the right to ignore what was done. You know what I mean? That's the thing that I'm talking about. You don't get to just ignore this systematic way of doing things. And people say, "Well, Peyton Manning, he deserves the benefit of the doubt. All the good things that he's done." Here's what this is what this is akin to. And my people can understand this when I say this. He's the big time dope dealer that's giving out toys at Christmas and giving out turkeys at Thanksgiving and those type of things. You know why? Because it insulates him from all the douchery that he does, the poisoning of the people with the drugs that he sells. That's all Peyton Manning is. You see it all the time, man. People go overboard into cultivating these images of themselves, and they think what it's going to do is going to mute the volume of these terrible secrets that they have. There was a movie that came out, and I don't remember what the name of it was, but Denzel was in it, and Clive Owens was in it, and the dude that played Solomon Northup in the 12 Years a Slave was in it. And it basically, Clive Owens was a bank robber, and it was this elaborate scheme to rob this bank. And at the very, kind of the underlying story of the movie was that there was this guy who owned the bank, who was actually a war criminal in the time of the Holocaust. And so he did all this philanthropic stuff and built these banks and became a huge, big time rich guy, only just to cover up this deep, dark secret that Clive Owens' character found out about and was there to teach him a lesson. And I look at Peyton Manning and I see the same thing now. Like all this stuff with this HGH, and people was like, I don't believe that happened, because why? Everything points to the fact that it would. The dude had 5-6 neck surgeries and wanted to come back and play professional football. Yeah, something tells me, man, that, it's what I said to, who was I talking to the other day? It was either Terrell Troop or Byron Chamberlain, man. Like, I start hearing stories like that. It's the skeptic in me that says that stuff don't happen naturally. Like that, people start digging in your neck every other month. You gotta sit down. You ain't playing no more football. But he did. And people want you to believe that it happened through, the right vitamin regiment and sleeping well in hyperbaric chambers and all this kind of stuff. All right, fine, cool. But just like this story is resurfacing, you think those Al Jazeera folks are done with Peyton Manning? Hell no. This ain't over. It'll come back. Trust me, it'll. And I told y'all this when the story first broke. It ain't gonna be just as simple as this dude sitting down with his buddy Mortensen. Like, no, I didn't do it. I would never, ever, ever do that. And I want everybody to believe me. Sure. Cool. It's fine. The other thing that was very, very evident in the piece, and you kind of got to make sure you put your mind, kind of put it in the DeLorean and take it back in time and realize that it wasn't, this stuff didn't allegedly happen in the time that we live in now. Like this woman was called stuff like a C-word licker or something like that because she was assumed to have been a lesbian. And the dude that was saying it to her, he said it to her like as though like, I'm helping you. Like, you're going to have to learn how to deal with this kind of stuff if you want to work in this field. The struggles of a woman trying to make her way in a male-dominated field. So, yeah, she had to endure all that kind of stuff. Endure dudes, a dude, like putting his testicles on you and trying to keep the bigger picture as it turned out being her career. This lady's worked with the top Olympic athletes in the Atlanta Olympics and like the London, whatever other Olympics, and a couple of them, like track and field guys. She's the head trainer for those people. Like, this is not just some chick that's hanging around the football team taping ankles and passing out water. This ain't that. This is a real medical professional that takes her situation seriously, man. And I think it's the thing, if you're asking about the settlement in 2003, well, how that came to be with the book situation, the things that she wrote in her book, that Manning and his dad wrote in his book, it caused her job after her being there a couple of years and being like fast tracked and promoted and given raises and all this kind of stuff. The school fired her because of that, and she says that she feels as though they felt that she was just going to take it lying down like she did before. But in this case, you know, she lost another gig, another good gig, based on the situation that she felt like, you know, I'm just going to bury this and I'm not going to deal with it no more, because it doesn't serve, it's not going to serve me in any positive way anyway for me to bring it up or talk to anybody about it. And then they do that. They write a book about it, not naming her, but describing the situation. So, you know, judges, like, they try to get it thrown out of court, and the judge was like, hell no. We know that you know the stuff that you said was false, and you did it, we believe, to hurt this young lady. So no, we're not throwing the case out. And then they ended up having to settle for, as usual, you know, a non-disclosed amount, and under the most of the time these settlements are under the stipulation where you're not allowed to talk to the media about them when they're over it. That's part of, you know, the whole bit about, you know, not admitting any guilt and all this kind of thing. And you know, I can even go back to how everybody just thought it was cool. It was all right for Archie Manning to manipulate the NFL draft. You remember? Like, Eli Manning was a San Diego Charger, and his dad was like, hell no, he ain't playing there. I bet you he don't play. And on draft day, they traded him to the Giants for Phillip Rivers because of that. Now, I'm going to stand by my contention that there's no way in hell I'm going to say no other quarterback pulls that stunt. No other quarterback's dad. But I guarantee you, Mr. Newton, like Cam Newton's dad don't do that. He don't show up at the draft like, my son ain't playing in no damn Carolina. He must be crazy. And then people just acquiesce to it. Nah, it'd be a whole different situation, man. But that kind of just came and went. And no one batted an eye. But now you look at those things in retrospect and say, you know what? That's kind of a window into what these dudes are. When you start putting all the pieces together, that's what Archie Manning is. People told this dude he's he's football royalty. It's America, cuz that don't even exist. You know what I mean? Royalty. There was wars fought so that it wouldn't exist. But people have told this dude that, and he's bought into it. And apparently, he do what he want to do. He's on the college football selection committee and all these kind of things. You know, dictating where people can draft his sons. Yeah, you know, I can't wait till this story kind of just bottoms out, man, and people get to. It ain't really even about like Peyton Manning being brought down, because I'm the person that says, you know what, I can compartmentalize. He's a damn football player. I'm good with that. Just play football, dude. Just, you know, ball. Entertain me on Sundays and Thursdays and Mondays. And I'm good. But when it comes to you, like, trying to, like, shake people down and ruin people's lives, I'm not on board with that, man. That's ridiculous, man. You know what I mean? Like, all that stuff that's going on at the University of Tennessee where these females, whether... You know, because people say, like, oh, man, people make accusations all the time. Okay, that's fine. But their problem is not, you know, that people didn't believe them necessarily. It's the way that they were treated and the way that they were railroaded because they brought these things to the table. You know what I mean? Like, not believing someone is another ball of wax. But when someone brings an issue, especially an issue of that severity to the table, and you make them jump through all these hoops, and you bring out all these loopholes, like that law I was talking about, that's only exclusive to the state of Tennessee, in which the guys can't, or the what am I trying to say? The perpetrator, the alleged perpetrator, is the only person that gets to speak in the proceedings. Like, the person who brings the accusation, they can't do any cross-examination. They can't do any of those things. No one of right mind can sit here and say, well, that sounds about right to me. No, hell it don't. But it's a law in old backwoods-ass Tennessee that's the thing. You know, the way, like, people just don't care, man. That's basically what it boiled down to. Like, if you're allowed... Like, if you call yourself loving someone that you don't even know. Like, I love Peyton Manning. He don't care about it. He don't even know you. And you don't know him. But when you have that for somebody, and that's not just in that realm, it happens in the black community way too often. I was talking to one of my buddies the other day, my boy Alec, about that. Like that whole, like, I feel like we need to be on the same team because we're both the same color. Yep, not me. You know what I mean? And by the way, my boy Alec is white. And so he can't get his mind wrapped around that. And I can explain it to him. Whether I agree with it or not, I can explain to him the history of the whole, they doing that to us, and we need to stand up for this, and there's all this we and us and our, these type of things. I can explain to him why, and sometimes it's valid, but a lot of times, you can miss me with it. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, if you're, like again, I'll bring up the Bill Cosby thing. There's nothing in me that wants to sit up here and act like I'm defending Bill Cosby. Hell no. Hell no. Because I don't believe in life. That 50 people from 50 different walks of life say the same thing about one person and all of them lying. Nah, I've been alive for 38 years, man. Going on 39, and I've never experienced that. And many of you haven't either. But it's because you like Bill Cosby and you think Cliff Huxtable was a real guy. And he looks like you. He has the same color skin you have. And he supposedly gave so much to this and so much to that. I don't care about that, man. Like, once you violate people, man, all that stuff, I don't care, man. I don't. I can't put it. I can't find myself compartmentalizing then. Because in my opinion, all you've done there is try to cover up your wrongdoings, and getting people on your side. So in the case that you do get caught, like Frank Lucas, he gets caught and like, yeah, I got celebrities too. I got people all on my team. Yeah, it's a preemptive strike. I don't know, man. I'm not gonna belabor this point. I didn't save my article. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. A couple minutes early today. Don't forget, on Wednesday, we're talking draft with my guy Alex Kovtoff from NFL Draft Blitz. If you got any questions, I'll actually put this on my social media, too. If you got any questions for him about a particular prospect or a particular part of the process, you guys can tweet them to me at the number 1 MIC, WITHBIGMIKE, one Mike with Big Mike. You can also send them to my Facebook page, ONEMICWITHBIGMIKE, and I'll pass them on to him, and we'll do this thing on Wednesday. I do want to also mention that Gerald Brown, he's the host of the Bottom Line Sports Show on SiriusXM, will be on the show on Friday to talk a little bit about basketball and get us ready for the backside of the schedule and moving on into the playoffs and things of that nature. So thank you guys for joining me. Thank you, each and every last one of you. Don't forget, sign up for your free Spreaker accounts. Once you do that, follow my show, the number 1 MIC, WITHBIGMIKE, on Spreaker.com or the Spreaker app. Also, use that same handle for me on Twitter and Instagram, the number 1 MIC, WITHBIGMIKE, and like my Facebook page and post to it and all those things, Facebook.com/ONEMICWITHBIGMIKE. Appreciate you, Renee, for hooking that TJ Duckett interview up. It's very enlightening. Glad for that dude. He's doing big things up there in old Kalamazoo. I think that's where he's at still, Kalamazoo, Michigan. And he gave us some insight on the Flint water crisis up there. That's just on some troubling third world type stuff. But anyway, you guys have a good day. I'll be back on Hump Day, Wednesday, to try to get you guys over the rest of the hump. See you guys then.